Hi, and welcome to the End of Life Journey and Beyond, Sands of Time. I'm Lisa Strahs-Lorenc, and I'm a bereavement specialist. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you. I'm Susan Capurso, an End of Life Doula and Legacy Specialist. So today we're talking about planned journeys before a person passes, and planned journeys after a person in your life passes. So we're going to dabble a little bit on both sides of the coin, and we hope this will be helpful to you in some way, no matter where you are on your person's journey or your journey, right?
Yes.
So I'm talking to you today as if you are the person who has a friend or loved one or family member. And we're going to start with before. So it's after a terminal diagnosis when somebody knows that they have 6 months to a year to live. Okay, and things change. And we talk about the different phases in some earlier videos that we did, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. It might be helpful for you to go back and at least look at those three videos to see what takes place. But there's something that you can do along the way, and that's the planned journey. Okay, and there's different reasons to help do this. First of all, you're assisting them in their journey. You're assisting them, you're helping. And you're helping to show a person a little bit of life's beauty. Okay, it's calming for them, it's peaceful for them, and fulfilling for them. And that's really important because after a diagnosis, it's very easy to spend time alone. It's withdraw. It's easy to spend time in your bedroom, in your own house, and think that this is it, this is the end. So it's important to help a person see some of life a little bit, and Lisa and I don't make light of things. Believe me, we know the overwhelming and distraught that families go through and our clients, but it's important because it does give them an easy, peaceful feeling when they're able to do things that are normal, right?
Yes.
Right. So thinking outside of the box, making some suggestions, taking the initiative and making the effort. And that's what we're talking about here as you being the family member or friend or caregiver. There are so many things that you can do during this time. And I want you to just think about something for a second. Think about if the roles were reversed and you were in the situation. Think about how it would feel to have somebody come into your life, could even be a niece, a nephew, somebody that you'd least expect, that is there to guide and support you and hold your hand along the way and do some of these things with you. I would want that. I would want somebody to take charge and to take me by the strap. What's the word I'm looking for?
Well, it's usually just by the hand, but bootstrap.
Drag me out to the car to do these things, because at the end of the day, you'll feel like, wow, they'll feel like a new person, even when you're sick, even when you have a disease and an illness. And I know this because of my clients that I've worked with as an end of life doula. So remember that mobility and other physical limitations may prevent some of these things and some people from participating in certain activities. And of course, wherever they are in their timeline, you have to really meet them where they are and think of what they can and can't do. But there are a lot of suggestions that we have that you can do. There are alternate things that you can do. To start off, simply is taking a ride. Okay, getting in a car and taking a ride to a scenic area close by. I mean, I've done this with several of my own clients, putting beautiful music on, make sure it's music that they like. Okay, if they don't like rap music, don't put rap music on, but something that they like. And just looking out the windows, you could take a light snack, some fruit, or food's not even really that important, but it changes a person's perspective, right? When you could sit there and look out the windshield or open the window and feel the breeze coming in. When I've done this with my clients in the past, I can't even tell you how thankful they were at the end of the day. Very tired, maybe sometimes it wore them out, depending on how close they were to end of life, but thankful. So just drive,
Yep.
just drive, take a road trip, a little one, a big one, whatever. I have a few other ideas, and they're simple ideas that you and I can do every day, every weekend, but we take them for granted.
Mm.
So when you're supporting a person during this time of their life, they don't take them for granted anymore because they believe they can't do any of these things anymore. So you have to be the leader. A new restaurant, right? Maybe a new cuisine, something that they've never tried. Now I get appetites change. They may not be hungry. This happens along the way. But depending where they are, sometimes they're really hungry and they want to eat some good foods. Maybe try something new. Japanese if they've never had it. Thai food if they've never. Try something new. Visiting an aquarium if you have one close by. We have one here on Long Island, and it's just magical. And if walking gets to be a problem,
Get a
there
wheelchair.
are wheelchairs.
Get a wheelchair.
And wheelchairs can be accessible in 90% of places, as we all know. Our friend, who we should have on too, Roberta from Destination Accessible. That's what she does. She focuses, and it's destinationaccessible.com, where she focuses on places that you can bring wheelchairs, and they're handicap accessible. So that's a good thing to know if you're in New York on Long Island. But aquarium is calming and soothing, right?
It's the water. It's the water. Yeah.
It's the water. So again, the beach, right? If they're a morning person, do a sunrise. Get up early. Spend the afternoon at the beach. Bring a picnic. My favorite time to go to the beach, the most soothing and calm and serene time for me, is evening.
Yeah, I love sunset.
I just love evening at the beach. There's something so spiritual about it for me. And it is calming. If you're a woman and something that you've done all along is had manicures and pedicures, don't stop and force that now. Make the appointment. Make the appointment to get their hair done. And sometimes later on somebody's timeline, I have found somebody that comes in, that can come in and do the haircut, because guess what? You can still be beautiful. You really can, because when you're beautiful, you feel good. When you're going to feel better.
Yeah.
As not good as they feel, you will feel cleaner and better, and that gives them a sense of dignity in this time.
By the way, I did that for my mom when she was in the hospital, and I got somebody who comes into a hospital to do that.
Yeah.
And it meant the world to her. It was really important to her.
Absolutely. I love pedicures. I love manicures. I love massages. Sometimes a massage might be a little bit too much depending on where they are, but if it's not, well, then make a spa day.
Yeah.
And if you sit outside in your car, that's what you do. Go next door to the grocery store, but help them get there and make a big thing out of it. Like it's something you wanted to treat them to, or make it
special.
fun.
Make it special. Yeah.
I thought about dinner cruises. Depending on where you live in the country, many places, even on lakes, up in Lake George, I would go on all the time with my in-laws.
Yeah, there's a paddle boat there. That's great.
There's the paddle boat, right? And I got to tell you, isn't it soothing? Especially if you can take an evening one, or dinner time when the sun's going down. It's beautiful and calming.
Yes.
I suggest a museum or an art gallery. They're peaceful. Very peaceful places. And again, if you're in a wheelchair, that's comfortable, comforting. You're getting out in the world, you're learning, and you're just exposing yourselves to things that you couldn't if you were at home in one spot.
Yeah, we call it change of scenery. Really great.
Change of scenery. Castles. On Long Island here, we have lots of different castles, and they let you go in and tour them. Right? I've done that before, and that's a fun outside of the box activity that you can certainly do with anybody. I was my last client, I actually did take to the beach and did take to a lake, and it was just get the wheelchair and getting her in the car and going and sitting for a few hours and then bringing her back, and it's all very possible.
That extra effort is amazing. that
When
you've gone to
anybody,
that.
that's right, when any friend, family, caregiver, whoever you are, it's really amazing to go the extra mile and fulfilling for you. Oh my gosh, it's so fulfilling to be able to help somebody else. I'd rather help somebody else than somebody help me. I don't like taking the
I
help,
know.
but
I'm the same way. I'm the
when
same
you're a
way.
giver, you're a giver, and it's important to be a giver now.
I know a lot of people have gone on last trips. If they're able
Yeah,
to travel, they have gone on a family trip that they had thought about for many years, but delayed it and didn't do it. They've gone to islands. They've done a lot of different things. And of course, accommodations and all are important, but it's been very memorable and really special. Um, my husband and I, as he was dying, we decided to go to a Newport, Rhode Island, where the big houses are and stuff. We stayed specifically in an inn that really customized everything to us. He could stay in when he was really tired. Everything was very comfortable and accommodating and all. And it was just, I knew that, there were many things that he wouldn't be able to do. But there were other things just along the walkway and stuff and looking at the shore and
what a
driving
beautiful
around.
memory for you,
Beautiful. Yeah.
right?
Yes.
For the
Yes.
person left behind, but what a beautiful time for him
Yes.
during the hardest time in his life, right?
Yes. Yes. He
Beautiful.
died a month later. So yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Picnics.
That's nice.
Picnics are simple. There's beautiful parks everywhere. If you have to go investigate and research yourself where you can find the perfect place that's overlooking the perfect spot, and then make a plan to bring a little picnic lunch there. Another activity is sleepovers, right? So have sleepovers, maybe one night with a girlfriend or a boyfriend or two. Just the memories, and there's laughing involved. And if you put a chick flick on or a Rambo movie on, whatever you want to do, but invite, so make the suggestion to let's set this in place. Next Saturday, invite. And you're going to set it up. And now this sleepover thing I'm talking about could be with your nieces and nephews one weekend. It could be with just the grandchildren one weekend. It could be with just your siblings one weekend. And as long as you're there to help somebody, or if they get some help and maybe preparing some food, bringing some food in, that memory is going to be there for the rest of everybody's life that's involved.
Yes.
Yes. So that's really important.
And remember, they may feel like they're being a burden, okay? And you have to reassure them that this is what you want, that this is what you want to give to them. Make it, just show them that you want to be there for them. Very important, very selfless, but so important for the person and for you. Look at what you're doing at that time. Yeah. The other thing that I want to mention is, these arbitrary dates. I mean, it is true that doctors and medical community and stuff say, a certain amount of time and a certain amount of left and all. That's not always true. I mean, I've had people in stage 4 cancer who are still alive after 2 years, but they were told only 3 months. Now, it could go the opposite way as well. But the point is to really try and take advantage of this time. Matter what time, because you don't really know specifically. So the sooner the better, but also making sure that you take all that time and have that special time together and do, as I said, what Susan's been suggesting, so many even smaller things that do mean so much to people all around. And don't forget about the relatives. There's some great things you can do with relatives.
And Lisa, it's funny with electronics these days. Can you just pause this for 1 second? I have an emergency client calling, and we'll get right back on. Okay. So thank you for that. Emergencies come up, and I had to take that call from a client.
Sure.
But I wanted to just mention also, with the sleepovers, that's a wonderful thing that can be pre-planned. But what about some activities that are happening, in your local area? During the summer, they have hot air balloon festivals, right? I've been to one. I actually took the ride on one, and the person can, of course, or sit in chairs and watch. And it's the most beautiful, magical
Wow.
experience ever. Sometimes you have to drive a little far to get one, but it's worth researching and looking into it.
Nice.
Reconnecting with family and friends, no matter how you do it. You know, make the suggestion. You could do something at their place, your place. These planned activities like dinners, have a theme night. We talked about that in other videos. You can, if they've loved painting all their lives, find a local paint class, some kind of hobby that maybe you can take them to. And don't think that these things are silly.
Yeah.
Because I've seen people do things like this up until their last couple weeks, you know,
Yes.
and it really fulfills you and keeps your mind working in a way that it should until you go.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
any kind of hobby. If they don't listen to audiobooks right now, suggest them.
Yes.
Suggest them. They're so important. And there's beautiful audiobooks, spiritual books. Everything's on audible.com these days. Sign up for the membership. Have the little speaker, the Bose speaker, or they have inexpensive $30 speakers now that you can hook up to the phone or to the computer. And they can be laying over on the other side of the room and listening to the audiobooks. That's a big thing for me. So if they don't do it already, suggest it.
Yeah.
A show at the local theater, right? Whether it's Broadway or not, local theaters in town are now back after COVID and doing shows. And so that's a wonderful event. Wonderful event. You know, for hours you can sit and you enjoy your time and you're smiling and you're laughing.
There's a lot of small local theaters
That's right.
that are really wonderful. They have great talent.
Of course,
Yeah. And of course, outside
those tickets are inexpensive too.
Yes, they are. They are.
Which is really nice.
Different than going to Broadway. Yeah. Yeah.
Sporting events.
Yes.
Sporting events. Listen, if somebody loves football or baseball, you know, get those tickets, find a way to get them, talk to family members, chip in, offer to be the one to take, but go to an event.
Yes. Including concerts, because concerts are coming back now. Yeah.
So before my uncle passed, he loved Jimmy Buffett all his life. They were big Jimmy Buffett fans. And you know that's a crazy concert, right?
It is.
He was in the wheelchair at that point, and she did not think, my aunt being she, did not think that she could possibly drive down to Miami from Fort Lauderdale and get him in the handicap elevator and bring him up to she was stressing for weeks and weeks after she got these tickets. Anyway, the day of the show came and they did it and they went, and it was easier than she thought. And he had the time of his life. And do you know now he's gone 8 years now. And that's one of the big things she talks about all the time, that she's so grateful she got to do that.
That's wonderful.
You know, a massage, a new hairstyle, even for anybody, why not?
Yes.
If you've had long hair all your life, try something new.
Yes.
But you see, these are all things that we can do right now, and we do take them for granted, like I said earlier on. But when you are facing death due to a terminal illness, you know, a person consistently thinks during this time that you're leaving the world behind.
Yeah.
And that so many things are unfinished and undone, and there's no control. There's no control. So if you can bring in some of these activities, then there is a sense of control. Yes. Because you're in control, even if you're being wheeled into that concert. You have control to get out there and get to that concert. And you have the power to do this for them.
Yes.
And that's what I love, that we have more power within our own beings that you don't realize. Anybody watching this has the power to change those circumstances and make these beautiful activities a loving experience. Last thing I want to say before you talk about some things as well, Lisa, is you have to remember too, and this is the hard part, that they are on a timeline.
Yes. They
are on a timeline. So planning to go to a museum or the spa, or, you know, even watching the hot air balloons or riding to the beach. riding to the beach is a little different. I did that the last few weeks with my clients, but a lot of these things will get too hard and
Yeah,
they
don't
want
wait.
to get out
Don't
of
wait. Yep.
right. And there's less talking at the end and all the things we talk about in our videos, right? So keep that in your mind that that timeline's there
Yes.
and try and get things in sooner versus later.
Yes. Yes.
And then Lisa wanted to talk today a little bit about some things you can do after you lose a loved one.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Especially, Father's Day was yesterday. Many of us has lost our fathers or lost our husbands. And then I see a lot of postings, and we see postings of people being walked down the aisle, and we have postings of people, going to cemeteries and stuff. Here's what I see. I see the opportunity to go to a place that maybe they love to go to, and that sort of brings back memories of them. And an enjoyable event that they would like to do, that they would have done. All those things still bring them with you. And it might be hard for some people because they feel that it's personal, it brings back grief or whatever. But what it does, it's a catharsis. It actually helps you move and continue to grow as you keep this inside you. There was a very special place for my husband and I. It was called Chittenango Falls. And it was a place in Syracuse, beautiful falls. And that's where we went. That was our place. And going back there again, just for me personally, with my new partner, was amazing. It was such a life affirming thing to feel that life was full circle, that I had experienced that with my wonderful husband, my lover, my friend, and that I was experiencing it now anew in a little different way, but that he was still with me and always. So don't discount all the things that were really special. It doesn't mean that they're gone. It means that they may be different and they may feel different, but you can go back to.
I just want to add this real quick because that feeling that you just gave me really resonated with my husband. And I don't do a lot of the things that he used to do, and because it is harder for me than it was for you. However, one thing we used to do with our children for many years, sometimes year after year, is we would go to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a timeshare there. And the first year after he passed, he passed in March. That first January, we would go the first week of January every year like clockwork. I set a trip to Disney. And I got to tell you, walking through all these parks, it was wonderful because I would see something, or even that bench over there. And I would be like, remember when Daddy used to do that? Remember when Daddy ran over there and did this? And
Wow.
It was a bonding thing with our kids, but it felt still at home.
Yes, how wonderful.
So
how wonderful. You can turn something around because it becomes new. So I'll tell you about the solstice. We celebrated the winter solstice as opposed to Christmas and Hanukkah. And we made our own holiday. This was a really special holiday on December 21st, the shortest day of the year. And we had certain traditions that we did and all. And this winter solstice now has become my annual girls' night out. Girls come to me and I do the same things we used to do. We always did a fondue and we always decorated our small mini tree, which was always alive, and that we would plant it in the yard. And the decorations are not traditional Christmas decorations. It's always about life and affirming, parts of your life. And the girls my women friends bring me special ornaments, and they spend a lot of time figuring out what would be meaningful. And so winter solstice has turned into something that now is just very wonderful for me.
And we talk about that all the time, how events can change, but they morph into something different, new, and still loving and great. That's what you've done with so many things in your life, I know.
That's right. But I do want people to understand it is definitely a process. It's definitely a journey going to that place. I have to share with everyone the first year that winter solstice came, I said, I cannot do this. I mean, you went to Disney World, which is amazing. I cannot do this winter solstice. Here's what I did. I went out to Gurney's, which is all the way out in Montauk here on the East End. And I said, I'm going to spend the night in this beautiful spa. I'm going to treat myself to being just taken care of. I had dinner in the room I had was right on the water. It was beautiful. They couldn't have put me on a better place. And it was hard. It was hard because it was December 21st. I was alone, but I felt that this was what I needed to do. I have to tell you that when we met in Syracuse, we always walked in the snow. There was no snow when I went to sleep that night. And the following day, there was snow everywhere. It was the most amazing thing. Amazing.
Magical.
Magical. So, again, the process is a journey. Everybody should realize that this just doesn't happen, but the fact that you're thinking about where you can go, what you can do, how you live your life, because we all know that loving person would want us to be happy and would want us to live our lives. That is so important for us to all know. And yes, we go through guilt, and yes, we go through anger, and yes, we go through many, many different things. But we come out to a place where we realize that life is so precious and that we need to celebrate our lives. And that's what that does for all of us. So think about those things. Going with children, that's such a great idea, because you're making life meaningful for them, and you're continuing that legacy for them, which is so important.
Life is so short, and we know this, and we stress this. And
We do.
when you haven't suffered loss, you really don't know that yet, and you don't really understand it
Mm.
until you have. And no matter who it is, if it's a person that you love with all your heart, you have to know that you have to be gentle with yourself. Be gentle and plan some of these activities, no matter how hard you might think it is to get out there. Once you get out there and you're involved, it's going to feel good.
Yes, and small steps to support somebody. Don't get frustrated with them, but try and help them to go to the next steps. As I said, very slowly, maybe, just on a Saturday, you're going out and you're going to walk around a pond, whatever it is to help that person through those stages. But do help them.
And I wasn't even looking at the things we were saying from a layperson's point of view. But if you're watching this right now and it's a friend who's suffering, I'm thinking if it's you who is going through loss. But if your best friend lives next door and she's suffered the loss, be the one for her, right? Get her to go on that walk around the pond. She's going to be really, really thankful.
Yes.
And plan some of these things. And you'll hear, as the layperson, you'll hear a lot of no.
Yes.
No.
Yes. So don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged. That's enough.
Don't give up.
Keep trying. Keep trying. Do not give up. Do not give up. Because inside you don't know the conflict that they have, saying, well, maybe I can't be happy right now, or maybe I can't do anything right now. But just keep at it for them, because you don't realize what you're doing for them to help them out.
Right. And they're not pushing you away.
That's right. That's right. Right. The other thing is not to take it right. Don't take it personally.
They just don't know how to breathe and how to go out and walk around the pond. They don't know how. They don't have the motivation, the gumption, the inspiration to do it.
Yes.
But you can be that for them.
Yes.
So that was a really good point in being there for somebody else.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. So this has been really a great topic, Susan.
Yeah.
We also have books that are helpful. I have 2 support books on moving on with your life. They're both from pancreatic cancer, but they could be really for anything. And they both can be on Amazon. Pancreatic Cancer, It's a Family Affair, and Pancreatic Cancer, Families Move On. And both fund the Lustgarten Foundation. So that's mine. And Susan, I know you have books too.
I have a few, but the 2 that I want to speak about is Remember Me, the Story of My Life. And that's for somebody to write some memories. I give you a prompt and it takes you back to a period in time, and you can write your thoughts and your stories and experiences for the future generations that you may never get to know. I have end of life clients and friends who fill this out. I also, if you're healthy and vibrant, because we are all the ancestors today. And the other book is Coming Full Circle, 100 Tools, Tips, and Ideas to Bring into a Person's Life at the end of their life. And that is a lot of the things that we talk about before you go. Both books you can find on Amazon. You can just search Susan Capurso in books and you'll see them right there. We also have eastend.academy, where we have some digital online courses for you to learn a little bit more, because when you learn, you know, and when you learn, you grow, and when you grow, you know.
Love that. And our course that is just very sensitive and probably is nowhere else. What does a dying person want? That is very unique, and the information there is really precious.
So no matter who you are, you know, you want to have this little bit of education, even now, if you don't know anybody in that situation, but when you do, you'll be prepared and you'll have tools in your box to use and help them take the best journey ever.
Absolutely. And we should also mention that we do both do one-to-one counseling, Zoom, whatever.
Right.
And certainly
Started in person, but I do a lot of consulting, as you do, in Zoom rooms now, just because it's much easier, you know, without the traveling, and consulting families of the people who've passed or are on their way. So we do both. So you're welcome to reach out to us anytime, and we're happy to serve.
It sounds great. Okay, Susan, thank you. We look forward to next week, another topic. And please, again, everyone needs to share our channel. It has so many different topics that are not covered elsewhere, and it is free. So
yeah, and please subscribe, because you'll get the notification every week when we have a new video.
Absolutely. All right, you take care. Have a great week.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, bye.
Bye.